Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming out on this lovely Saturday afternoon to hear about Niagara College's CIC program. My name is Jessica Perez. I am the placement intake consultant for the program. I will let my colleagues introduce themselves. I don't know who wants to start.
Hi, I'm LB. I'm one of the full-time faculty in the CIC program.
I'm Melos, and I'm the other full-time faculty in this program.
I'm Leah Nemtu, and I am one of the learning facilitators, or one of the support staff in the CICE program.
And hi, my name is Scott Green. I'm also another one of the learning facilitators, full-time in the CICE program. Welcome.
All right, so we're going to get started. For those of you that are familiar with Zoom, if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to add them or ask them in the question and answer box, and we will do our best to monitor that and answer questions along the way, and we will get started. So what is the CIC program? The CIC program is a college level certificate program. It runs for 4 continuous semesters. And what that means is that we don't take a break in the summer. So when you start, let's say in September, you would go right through the fall, the winter, then the spring and the summer, and you would do 1 more semester in the fall. CIC students are considered full-time college level students, which means that the CIC students have all the same rights and privileges of a full-time Niagara College student. I turn it over to Linda.
Thank you, Jess. Yes, so typically we see any one or combination of these 3 goals in students coming into our program. We see students that are looking to obtain a college level certificate by completing our program, so looking for a college experience. Some students come looking to develop the skills necessary to transition to paid employment upon graduation, and we address this not just with our curriculum, but also with our job placements, our practicums. And finally, we see students that are looking to use the CIC program as a stepping stone, so to develop skills that are necessary to be successful in moving on or transitioning into another Niagara College program. So just a word that any other program after CICE you would have to apply for, as would any other student. And sometimes there could be academic upgrading necessary on an individual basis. So you might be looking at these 3 and identify with 1 or 2, or perhaps all 3 of these goals coming into the program.
All right, so some of the goals of the CIC program when our students have been accepted, we always look to enhance your academic skills, so build on the skills that you have, and really try to see what you want to work on. So we have some students wanting to learn how to study better, and they'll work with us and the LF, so the learning facilitators, to do this. Another goal is building independence and self-advocacy, and also building communication skills. So are you able to send professional emails without prompting? Are you able to communicate with us when you're going to be away? We also are trying to increase your technology and computer skills. So this term alone, our students have learned how to use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Flipgrid, Edpuzzle, Padlet, again, Google Drive. We are really trying to always expand their skills so that they can be successful in any environment. And also we're trying to build on the professional and work ready skills that connect to being employable. So again, this could be arriving on time, right? Being organized, knowing that I arrive 5 minutes early for my shift, not right at the time that your shift is starting. And then this also ties into the next point of our time management and organizational skills. So we review Google Calendar, we help you set reminders, make to-do lists, and really try to build upon your time management and organizational skills. And then we're always trying to strengthen your basic numeracy skills. So again, are you able to recognize that if we only have 10 minutes for break, that you may not be able to go to Tim Hortons and stand in line and get your coffee and come back? But also we'll cover cash management skills, money handling, and that's specifically in the 4th term. And then again, this ties into the 4th term math course of gaining an understanding of your personal and financial management skills.
Okay, so the admission requirements for the CIC program. It requires an Ontario secondary school diploma or a secondary school certificate, a certificate of accomplishment or equivalent, or mature student status. So what that means is you can apply if you are 19 years of age or older and don't have either a diploma or a certificate. Another requirement is a level of independence that does not require constant support or supervision. And we're going to explain what that means in a little bit more detail as we go through the presentation. The ability to manage transportation to the college and to any field placements or off-campus activities that take place in the community. And that can look very unique for each of our students. So that may be taking the bus for some students. That may be driving yourself if you have a driver's license and a car that you have access to, or that might be getting a ride from somebody that you live with, mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, something like that. You're also required to participate in an admission interview to articulate your personal goals and to determine suitability for the program. And any student who has graduated from any other college program are not eligible to apply for the CICE program because you've already demonstrated that you can take a non-CICE program and be successful.
Recommended preparation for the program. We like to practice acceptable behavior in and out of the classroom. So looking at social skills and practicing in the classroom. Ability to communicate your thoughts, feelings, and needs. So again, thinking about what your needs are and learning how to communicate that. Ability to ask for the help that you need as required, so self-advocating. The ability to use your cell phone independently. So we use our cell phone through our Google Calendar, our emails. We have various apps and texts that we use. And also the ability to follow a schedule and to navigate the college independently.
So we're also looking to see, are you capable of interacting and participating in group work with other students, both in our program and outside of our program? And are you able to accept and adapt to changing environments and situations? This is a very important employment skill that we really try to work on in our program. And also the ability to accept constructive feedback. So Monica, in terms of the different apps, it will depend on the course, but again, there is a MyNC app, but also just using your Google Drive app, Google Calendar, being able just to know where are your text messages and can you open them? And even just, can you open your NC email, find that app, click and open it and know how to read, delete emails and send from there. And then also the ability to understand the importance of keeping scheduled appointments and following up if you're not able to attend, and also being able to communicate when you're going to be absent as well.
I believe this is LB again.
The slides are mixed up, Jess. So yeah, I'm going, but it's the ability to check and respond to emails. So again, are you able to recognize when we have sent an email? So we're always encouraging our students to be checking their emails twice a day and then reading them, understanding them and responding back. Being proficient in basic computer applications. So again, are you able to just open up Microsoft Word? Know how to save in it, right? We're not expecting anything fancy, but again, like I mentioned with the email, are you able to find your NCE email, open up the browser, navigate to where you need to be? And that's the same with keyboarding. We really are looking for, are you able to independently log in to your computer, so your username and your password, and remember this? And we are able to support students with that by giving them, again, tips of, you should keep a note in your phone of what your password and your username are. And then also, if applicable, using assistive technology independently. So we have some students who use earbuds and they are able to respond using Siri with voice to text to complete their assignments. Not all of our students do this, but we are always trying to set each student up for success. So it's much a smoother transition when our students are familiar with what assistant tech they need and are able to recognize when they need to use it.
Great. So for CIC supports that we have available in the classroom, our classes tend to be between 10 and 16 students. So we have a nice small ratio of student to instructor. And there's enough computers in each classroom for every student to have a computer. You, of course, are welcome to bring your laptop as well if you would prefer. CICE professors all present classes with a curriculum that supports a lot of different styles of learning and different levels of learning. We do a lot of experience-based work in our classroom. Each classroom has a learning facilitator present in the classroom, and the learning facilitator will assist in supporting you during in-class work, providing any necessary accommodations that you have in place. And they also support all of the students in the classroom, and they have regular visits. So you'll hear more from the LFs in just a moment on an as needed basis. We also have the field placement officer, Jess, who will assist students in preparing for and supporting you in your job placements. So she'll be working with you to develop the skills and to walk the process basically of starting and successfully working through a job placement.
Okay, this one is me. So again, I'm one of the full-time learning facilitators. So one of the things that myself and Aaliyah's the other full-time learning facilitator really enjoy doing is getting to know you as students. So that's why we have many different opportunities for you to be able to either attend drop-in sessions where we can talk about any of your academic supports for any of your courses, and really just also discuss other things that is really important for you to be successful at the college, like some of those scheduling, perhaps and organization tasks, as well as like time management. So just really any personal growth tasks we can certainly discuss as well. So I think there was a previous slide to this. I think we're missing.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to answer.
All
That's
good,
okay.
Jess, we're on it. You worry about the slides. Leah and I can take care of questions.
Sorry, what?
Perfect. No worries. I just wanted to address all the support. So
Sorry.
in addition to the drop-in sessions, we also have one-on-one weekly meetings with Learning Facilitator. And so these are 15 minutes in duration, and they're weekly. So we really get an opportunity to get to know you as students and find out what your goals and aspirations are for the future, and really discuss like ways that we can kind of really empower and you to be successful at the college. So they could be things like even talking about clubs that are available at the college that you may want to branch out and participate in. It may be things where you want to show improvement in some classes, or you want to be connected with some of the services at the college. So those are very individualized, and we can really customize those meetings to however you want to use your 15 minutes. So that's kind of an opportunity for us to kind of check in and be able to set you up for success on a week-to-week basis. The other thing that's available at the college is we have an academic advisor. Her name is Jill English, and she's also a level 1 professor. So if you're new coming into our program, you would be able to be have an opportunity to be able to see Jill, because she's also our level 1 student success professor. So the great thing about that is you will already be able to know Jill, so that if you have to meet with her to talk about any of your course, have any questions about courses or what your plan is moving forward, she'll be a familiar face to you. The other thing that we have available at the college is the health, wellness, and accessibility services. And we work really closely with this department to be able to make sure that you are set up to have an appointment with them. And why this is really important is that they can look at what your accommodations are at the college, and they can help set up a letter of accommodations that would be shared with our program and all of your professors, so that we can be able to support you in whatever your learning needs are in the classroom. The other piece of this as well is once you meet with a counselor, they can set up an appointment to meet with our assistive technologist, and he will really customize what assistive technology will be most optimal for you in the classroom, and be able to look at things like installing them on your electronic device. So if you have your own laptop, which is great, oftentimes with your fees that you pay, your Jim, as one of our assistive technologists, is able to install perhaps software or programs on your laptop that you can use. And he can also teach you how to use these assistive technologies so that you can practice them and be proficient in the classroom. So students also in our program are able to participate in what we call academic experience classes, in addition to the ones that we teach in our program, which we call our core classes. The great thing about the academic experience classes is it gives you an opportunity to have that college experience, to be able to look at the different courses that are taught at the college. So some examples of courses that we've offered to students are things like culinary, hospitality. It could be some liberal arts courses such as history or creative writing. So we have really a variety of courses that you can select from, and it varies semester by semester. And you typically will attend that class with a small cohort of students, usually between 2 and 3 students, and a learning facilitator to be able to discuss, you know, like I said, what you're hoping to get out of the course. And so this is an audit course, which kind of means that you don't have that pressure of taking all the exams and assignments, but we certainly encourage you to do that, especially if your goal is to go on and take a college level course after our program. We really want to see you to kind of challenge yourself and seeing how far you can go. Learning facilitators, like as I mentioned, attends these classes, so we oftentimes will have opportunities outside of class in a support session where we can kind of customize everyone's goals and what they hope to get out of their AEXP or their courses at the college. And audit credits is not transferable to other Niagara College programs. So it is just a requirement within our program, but is not recognized outside.
Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome.
Just realizing that somehow this presentation has gotten minimized on my screen, and now I'm afraid to press any buttons. So you're sort of seeing my actual computer screen. So field placement, everyone's favorite questions to ask is how the field placements are delivered in the CIC program. So when you come into the CIC program, your first semester, we talk about placements, but we don't really focus on it. Our main focus is getting you comfortable with college life and setting you up and presenting the skills and the tools that you need to be a successful college student. In your second semester is when we really start talking about field placement, is because that's when you do your first field placement opportunity, which takes place on campus. We have a lot of different student learning enterprises at the Niagara-on-the-Lake campus, and our students get to go out to these areas on campus to do field placement shifts. So we have lots of opportunities such as the greenhouse, we have our wonderful benchmark restaurant, we have the recreation department, our maintenance department, what else am I forgetting? The library, we have the 3D printer there. So the shift takes place during regular school hours, and we find a time in the timetable where it's after class, before class. So you would come to class, you'd maybe have school in the morning for a few hours, you'd have a break, and then you would go to your field placement shift for the rest of the day. So for instance, in previous semesters, students would come to my class, they'd have class from 10:30 to 12:30, they'd have a break, and then they'd go to their field placement from 1 to 4. So it would look something like that. In your third and fourth semester, you're actually out in the community, and we have so many great community partners where our students go and do their field placement shift. The difference between your on-campus shift and your in the community shift is that when you do your shift in the community, you're going out for an entire day. So you're not coming to the campus at all. You would wake up in the morning, you would get all your stuff together, you would take the bus or you would get a drive, and you would go right to the location where you're doing your field placement. And then when you're done at the end of the day, you would travel back home. So it's really to simulate what it would be like going out into the world of work. And that happens 1 day a week for the whole semester, and shifts range anywhere between 6, 7, or 8 hours, depending on the location and what the supervisor there can offer our students. And that's the same in semesters 3 and 4. So you get a total of 3 different field placements in the community. So these are some of our students out on their field placements. As you can see, there are so many different varieties and options for our students to complete their field placement. And I get to really get to know the students in the first and second semester and find out what their interests are, what their strengths and abilities are. And then I can match them with a suitable placement that is something that they're interested in, but is also going to, stretch their abilities, get them out of their comfort zone, and really get them to grow in the world of work. So as you can see here, we have students in restaurants. We have one young man, he's in the bottom left-hand corner, and he's also holding up I don't know what it's called, but a sheet of bees, it looks like. So his 2 different placements, one, he was on campus at our beekeeping department, and then his second placement, he was out in the community at Niagara Exotic Animals Pet Store. So needless to say, was not one of my favorite things to go visit. He was either with bees or reptiles, but he loved every second of it. We also have students that have been at Sobeys. We have a student there at the greenhouse. They're at coffee shops. We've had them at radio stations, Habitat for Humanity.
White Oaks.
Oh, White Oaks, yes. And every semester I have students that have different areas of interest, and then I go out into the community and I do my very best to see if I can find something that aligns with what their goals are in terms of work experience.
Okay, so here is an example of a student schedule, and you'll notice right off the hop, it's a lot different than your high school schedule would have looked like, which most students absolutely love. They love the independence. This schedule here would be an example. It's just a sample of what a schedule would look like if we were on campus before COVID and in a regular kind of schedule. And so when LB spoke about students needing to have organizational skills and independent skills, it means that you're able to look at your schedule and know where you need to be at any given time, be there on time. And you'll see for some days, like on Wednesday, you have a culinary class and you have an hour break. So every day your schedule looks different, and it's up to you how you use this hour break. So you're welcome to use any of the resources on the college. You can have your lunch, you can hang out with friends, but knowing where you need to be after that hour is completely up to you. So you'll also notice there's some different colors on this schedule. The green hours here that Scott has talked about, those are your AEXP or elective courses. So those are the courses that you get to choose from. And you would be with all sorts of other students from the college and other programs with your LF and a few other students. So you're going out into the college and learning about a different topic with other students at the college, possibly working with people other than those in your CICE class. The orange classes are all CICE core classes is what we call them. And those are the classes that you're required to take in order to be successful in graduating from the CICE program. All of our classes are held in the same classroom. It's a designated CICE classroom with computers, just like Linda was saying earlier. And every class is taught by a CICE professor, and there will be an LF in every one of those classes. So when Scott and I meet with you every week and support you with other areas, we're very well aware of what you're learning in your classrooms and what kind of support you might need in academics, or even with resources on the college campus as well, and working on all of your social and time management skills. So this is what we call a level 1 schedule. And someone had a great question earlier. And her question was, what does level 1 mean? And level 1 just means first semester. So in CICE, it's a full-time program, and there are 4 levels or 4 semesters. So this would be a level 1 example schedule. And every day could be a little bit different. Here you can see there's drop-in hours that Scott also mentioned. those are also run by LFs, and we're there in the classroom to support you with maybe some work that you need to catch up on. Maybe there's some skills that you need to practice, or maybe you need some additional support in another area. Oh, sorry, and there's the meeting that Scott was saying earlier. Sorry, meet with Sarah here. That would be the meeting that you would have with Scott or myself every week, same time. This is another example schedule, and this one's a little bit different because right now we are running hybrid. So that means that students are on the campus for a few hours every week, but the majority of their time is spent online virtual learning. So for this schedule this year, or this semester, the level ones are on campus on Monday. So that means they're in the classroom in Niagara College with Scott, an LF, and Lyndon and Julian, another professor. The rest of the days, they're all virtual learning. So there's a lot of independence needed on the students' side to be able to follow and read their schedules. So they need to know on Tuesday, they need to work on all of their communications work, because they're going to have a support with the LF. So LFs meet with students once a week to support them in each class, but the students are also responsible to independently work on each class for a few hours every week as well. We continue our virtual meetings with students every week, so students are able to touch base with an LF almost every single day of the week, which is wonderful. And they're also engaging in their elective or their AEXP class, virtual as well, just like this. We would be on Zoom with maybe 3 or 4 other students, and we would be learning about the material together, engaging in the material. And some students are taking tests and assignments and doing those things on their own, and other students are just kind of working through the material along with me week to week.
Thanks, Leah. Okay, so the admission process. So to apply to the CIC program, you would apply just like you were applying to any other college program, and that's through OntarioColleges.ca. And you would be looking for not CICE, but community integration through cooperative education. Once you apply, we get a weekly update letting us know who's applied in the last week. And when we receive that, we then reach out to all of the applicants directly by email. And provide a link for the applicant to book their CIC admission interview, which is about 30 minutes to 45 minutes in length. Currently, due to the pandemic, those are being conducted virtually, exactly like how you logged into this Zoom call. You would do the same thing for your admission interview. It's with myself and 2 other CICE staff members. And it's really just to get to know you, to talk to you about what your goals are, to find out what you'd like to get out of being a CIC student, to really make sure that you'll be a good fit for the CIC program. But not only that, we want to make sure that the CIC program is what you are looking for when you come to Niagara College. Before the interview, I will also send some documents for you to fill out prior to coming to the Zoom call. One of those is a questionnaire. And the reason I send the questionnaire is that a lot of the questions in there is to really get you thinking about a lot of the questions that we are going to ask during the interview. So it's to help prepare you for the questions that you will be asked. When we are doing in-person interviews, and even with the virtual ones, parents or support workers may attend for support. So maybe you need to get a ride to the college or help logging into the Zoom call. However, we do ask that the applicant is the one that is answering the questions, and they're doing that independently. I always suggest, if I am sending out the questionnaire in advance, so maybe have someone practice asking you those questions and you giving your responses so that you can do that independently during your admission interview. I will say that it is a very casual conversation. We want to make it as comfortable for you as possible, but we do want to see your independence during that interview. Applicants are also welcome to bring copies of any additional supporting documents, which could help determine their suitability for the program. So a lot of our applicants will bring their IEPs from high school or anything else they think would be helpful. Oh, I have a quick video to show that just highlights some of our students out on their co-ops. I wasn't sure if we were going to have enough time, so that's why I plugged it in at the end here. So let me just...
Niagara College's CICE program is available to individuals who have a developmental disability or other significant learning challenges. CICE provides students with the opportunity to experience college life while enhancing vocational, academic, and social skills. CICE is a 4-semester certificate program that accepts new students in the fall, winter, and spring terms. It is suitable to students who require significant curriculum modifications in order to succeed. Students have the opportunity to participate in an inclusive post-secondary learning environment with support from learning facilitators. They also take part in field placements where they gain valuable work skills in both the college and community. CICE, it's about an enriching and inclusive Niagara College experience.
Okay, so we will just quickly go through a lot of the questions that we get when we do these information sessions. We just sort of compiled a frequently asked questions section. So I will go through those and hopefully this answers any questions maybe you have forgot to ask or will think about later. So will someone help my student ensure he gets on the right bus? So we do not provide transit training or assistance. We encourage new CICE students to practice taking the bus to and from the college until they're confident in their abilities. Many of our students, as soon as they find out that they're coming to the college, they will spend time taking the bus independently or work up to that independence taking the bus. We have a young man who joined our program from Grimsby who takes actually the GO bus to the college, and he and his family spent the summer practicing taking the GO bus to the college. So it started, I believe, with, dad taking the bus with him. Then the second time it was the student getting on the bus independently and dad meeting him at the college. And the student was sort of texting updates along the way, just so dad knew he was still on the bus and going where he needed to be. And he built right up to taking it independently to and from the college on his own. Will someone help my student get to their classes? So as Leah had mentioned, we have 2 dedicated CICE classroom for all of our core classes. So the students will be introduced to that classroom and shown where that is when we do our Kickstart session prior to beginning the program, and also when we have our orientation. So they should be very familiar as to how to get to those specific classrooms before the first day. And then also, as Leah was speaking about, we have the AXP classes, which are the electives, which takes place outside of the CICE classrooms. And for the first few classes, and please jump in, Scott or Leah, if you have anything to add here. I know that the LFs will offer to meet the students outside of our classrooms and walk with them the first or second day that they go to those classes so that they become familiar with where they're located in the school. And please correct me if I'm wrong here, but you do find after the first class or 2, they're pretty independent and ready to just meet you at the classrooms. Anything you guys want to add to that? Oh, you're muted, Leah.
Absolutely. We find that the Niagara-on-the-Lake campus is easy to navigate around after a few weeks. So we often give students a tour before they've even started if they are coming to orientations and to Kickstarts. So they've been around the college possibly 2 or 3 times even before the first week. And like Jessica said, Scott and I always offer to meet the students the first week just outside the CICE classrooms, which are easy to find after you've been there a few times, and then we'll walk to the elective class together.
And the great thing about every one of the students having a 15-minute weekly meeting with me or Leah is oftentimes even at the beginning of the program, we can do things by just even walking on the campus during that 15 minutes and showing, like, for example, where your classrooms are, maybe where some of the key things around campus are, like cafeteria or health, wellness, and accessibility. So we really try to provide that that time to help get you organized and so that you know where you're going. And typically, usually at the beginning, we'll offer to meet students at a designated area who want to come with us to class. But oftentimes, as Jessica mentioned, students are oftentimes will be like, I know where the class is now, I'll just meet you in the classroom. So we really offer that to all the students.
And Scott, someone actually asked, they saw the schedule and someone asked in the chat, I see there's only 15 minutes with an LF, isn't there more for tutoring? And I said that we can kind of go through that a little bit more. And because you're kind of touching on that now, I thought maybe we could.
Go for it.
Yeah, we do meet with every student for 15, 20 minutes a week. And that's the only one-on-one time that you have with a learning facilitator. All the drop-in hours and the support sessions, those are also run by the learning facilitator. So you see us quite often. I wouldn't use the term tutoring for what the LFs do. A lot of your classwork and assignments in the CICE program are those things that you're going to need to be professional in the workplace. So yes, we can help you with things like assignments, but what you'll also know is that Scott and I are constantly giving you the opportunity to practice those skills that you're learning in the CICE classroom. So if it's time management skills, then we're encouraging you to do those in drop-in hours and your elective courses. Maybe sometimes we're making a plan in our meetings together. So we're really kind of supporting you more well-rounded than just tutoring for a test. So it's a different type of support than helping you study.
And oftentimes too, within our classes, especially a lot of our core classes in our classroom, the professors are really good at giving you your assignments and information in multiple formats. So you may have, a video format, you may have a written format, but most things we do are over the computer. And you will find once you leave classes, from my experience, students are very well understanding of what entails for an assignment or a bit of a work project. And so oftentimes it might be just checking in with us and finding out when is the best time to work on that assignment, like, on your schedule, or it's something that when you drop in for support, we can kind of provide that clarification and guidance on. But what you'll find is a 15-minute meeting is oftentimes is a nice kind of check-in, because there's a lot's happening at the college, as you can see from your schedule. So it's really making, talking about your week and what things you want to kind of like set up so that you can be successful for your week at the college. So great question.
Any other burning questions? Well, we've sort of.
Yeah, Jessica, someone had a question about the admission requirements. If you wanted to go maybe through that one again as well.
Yeah, so I won't go back to the screen, but admission requirements is your Ontario Secondary School Certificate or your Ontario Secondary School Diploma. If you don't have either one of those, though, you can apply as a mature student, which means you are 19 years of age or older when you apply. The other requirement is a level of independence that does not require constant support or supervision. And I think on the next slide, we're going to talk about that a little bit more, what that looks like. And the ability to participate in an admission interview to articulate your goals and to determine suitability for the program, and the ability to travel to your field placement in the community or off-campus activities independently. Now, that could mean you're taking the bus. That could mean you're getting a drive from somebody that you live with. That could mean that you're driving yourself if you have your driver's license and access to a car. All right, okay. So another question that we get asked a lot is, will someone help my student with their activities of daily living? So as I just mentioned, an admission requirement is a level of independence that does not require constant support or supervision. So that means that the students must be able to attend to their activities of daily living independently. So that is feeding themselves, being able to, go to the washroom and take care of all of that independently. It's being able to maneuver their way around the college independently, as Leah had mentioned. We will support you when you first are coming to the college. We understand that that is a new environment, so we will help you out in showing you around the college. But after the first few weeks, you should be able to do that independently. It also includes being able to administer your medication independently, and students must be able to do that on their own. I also just want to mention as well, in terms of being able to maneuver the campus and also in the community, when you go to do your off-campus placement. As a field placement officer, I always am supporting the student in ensuring that they are able to not only locate where their on-campus placement is. So if I was going with them for their interview, the first time they might be going to access one of these amenities, I will show them how to get there. And then their first day on the job, They may ask me to just sort of go with them, but I will ask them to show me how to get there the first day so that I can ensure that they can do that independently. But I definitely support them in locating that the first time, and same in the community. If they have an off-campus placement that they have never attended before, we will go over, you know, what bus do you have to take? Where's the bus stop? I will go out into the community and actually take photographs of key landmark areas so that they know what to look for, what is located at the bus stop they need to get off at. I'll take pictures of the front of the building so they know where to meet me for their interview. I will also meet students. I had one student who had to walk from the bus terminal to their field placement, which was about a 7 or 8 minute walk. So I met them at the bus stop. We walked to their field, sorry, not the bus stop, the bus terminal, walked to their field placement for their interview, had their interview. I waited till they were done. And then I asked that student to show me the way back to the bus terminal so that I could ensure that they could do that independently. So we definitely move them towards independence, but it does happen very quickly. So, you know, we're showing you once or twice, and then you have to be able to demonstrate that you can do that on your own.
Jessica, sorry, Jessica. There's a student asking, do we get hours in our placement?
Do you get hours in your placement? I'm not sure what that is referring to. So your first field placement is on campus, and that is 4 hours, 1 day a week, and that happens in your second semester. And we build that into your timetable. So you may have a 2-hour class in the morning, a break, and then a 4-hour placement shift in the afternoon, and then you'd be done for the day. In your third and fourth semester, you have a full day blocked off in your timetable, and that's just for your placement shift. So you might have missed the beginning of the presentation, so I'll just quickly review that. So it's to simulate like you were getting up and going to work. So you'd get up, you'd get your lunch packed, you'd get your work outfit ready if there's a uniform you have to wear, and you would travel from your home or residence if you're living there to your field placement in the community, however it is that you're traveling. You'd work your shift, and then you'd get back on the bus, or you'd get picked up and you'd come home at the end of the day. So you actually don't go to the college on days where your field placement takes place in your third and fourth semester. I'm hoping that answered your question.
They said okay, so.
Okay, perfect. So the next question we get asked quite frequently is, are there breaks for students during the summer since it is a continuous program? So students do have the ability to take a semester off if they choose, whether that be the spring summer semester or a winter semester. The only difference is that when they return, they'd be with a different group of students, which I always say isn't necessarily a bad thing. You kind of get to interact with people that are new and unfamiliar to you. So you get to practice your social skills and interacting with new individuals, especially when we're doing group work. It's nice to work with some new classmates. The other thing we like to highlight is if students are coming into the program with the intention of taking, say, the spring, summer off, that will delay graduation by 4 months. So we just have to like to remind students that. And then the availability. So if you do take a semester off, coming back to the program is also determined on whether there is available seats in the program. So that's also something to think about if you are going to take a break, is the semester that you'll be rejoining. We cap our class at 16 students. So if you're deciding to take a semester off, and then when you come back, if that cohort has 16 students in it, there may be a possibility that there is not a seat. So there's just bigger conversations to have if you want to take a semester off, so we can provide you with as much information as we can before you do decide to take it off. But we find that once students do come into the program, that once they're at the halfway mark, they really do like to just kind of keep going, and the graduation is in sight. But there is the option should you so choose. Will there be support for my student when they are at their field placement? So, I'm just gonna move my screen here. So we do not offer job support or job coaching to CIC students when they're at their field placement. However, as a field placement officer, much consideration is put into the matching process to ensure that I'm matching student with placement positions that match their skills and abilities. What's great about our on-campus employers for your first placement is that they're all Niagara College employees, and they're very familiar with our students and our program, and they want nothing more than for our students to succeed. So that also means that I'm only, you know, a floor or two away. So if anything comes up where I need to be available to come down to support or to troubleshoot, I can quickly, you know, come down a couple flight of stairs and I'm right there. And our on-campus supervisors are also great with keeping the lines of communication open. So if they see that a student is struggling or need a little bit of extra support, they'll communicate that with me. And I have amazing professors in this program who I share that information with, and they will find creative ways to sort of build that into the classroom learning. An example I like to use is we had a student who really struggled with coming back from her breaks on time. So when that was brought to our attention, and what actually we find more often than not is that if one of our students is struggling with something at a field placement, there's good possibility that there are more of our students that are having that same struggle or barrier, and it just hasn't been brought up yet. So for that particular student, communicated it to LB, who was able to build in as a part of her, when students took breaks in her classes, okay, we're going on break. Let's set a timer and a reminder so that we know when to be back and in our seats for when class starts. And it was really effective in helping that student put those skills and that habit in place when she was at her placement shift so that she could come back from her shift on time. We also do have a few employers in the community who are willing to provide some extra support to students who may require it. However, with that being said, the goal in our field placements and attending the program is always toward moving the students towards independence in the workplace. So if we are matching a student with an employer who is willing to give that extra, not quite one-to-one support, but support in the beginning, it's not meant to be there for the entire duration of their placement. It's there, just like when you come to the CIC program, how we will show you where things are, show you how to do things a few times. We want you to start doing that independently. The same goes for field placement. So if we're matching you with an employer who is going to give that extra support in the beginning, it's meant to be phased out over the duration of your placement. Will someone assist my student with managing payment deadlines with financial services? So as a Niagara College student, as I said in the beginning of the presentation, CIC students are just like any other Niagara College student. So the onus is on the student to manage payment deadlines with financial services and the registrar's office. We will do our best to remind students when payment deadlines are approaching. But again, all of the communication is going to the student, whether that is through their Niagara College email, their personal email. They will send hard copy old school letters right to your house. So more oftentimes than not, the student is actually getting the communication if they've missed a deadline for a payment before we are aware of it. But the onus would be on the student then if they're unsure of what is being emailed to them or a letter they've received at their house, to bring that up to the CIC staff or have that discussion with their learning facilitator in their meeting. And then we can help make the connection to the department at the college who can best assist them. We really don't want a student to get into a position where something has snowballed and it's too late to fix. So we support the students, but again, the onus is on them. Yeah, and again, at the bottom there, it's something that can be discussed during the learning facilitator meetings. Scott, Leah, is there anything you wanted to add to that about supporting students with things like that?
Just that they can get access to a lot of that information when they're familiar with our Blackboard. So there's like my financials when you're a student, and that will have all that information. So yeah, oftentimes it's just a matter of going through, they know how to access that so they can kind of be aware of it and discuss that to either take care of it themselves or discuss that with support people that can help them with that if that's what they choose to do.
Perfect.
We're really here to help you, give you the tools and teach you the tools that you can kind of mostly do it on your own. And that's what we're there for, because there's lots of supports at Niagara College, not just in the CICE program. And we kind of give you access to that and show you how you can do that.
And when new students are accepted into the program, when everything went virtual, I created what I call a new CIC student guide, which is like a website for new CIC students. And what I've done is I've actually gone through the larger Niagara College website, which has so much great information on it, but it can be a little overwhelming. And I've pulled all of the relevant information that is important for our CIC students to have, and it's all housed in one area. So I have how to find your invoice, your tuition invoice. I have helpful contacts at the college. So that's financial services, OSAP, registrar's office, admissions department. So that if you do have questions, you can just go onto that website and it should all be housed there. And if not, there's at least a contact in there for you to reach out to ask your questions. And then you get access to that before you even start the first day. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. So as I said at the beginning, my name is Jessica Perez. I am the intake placement consultant. So I am actually the first person that you will sort of have contact with when you apply to the program. Once your application comes in, all the email communications you'll receive after that as you go through the application process, and the intake, if you're accepted, comes from me. So feel free to reach out to me at any time should you have any questions. My email is at the bottom there. Even if you find that this presentation was a lot of information to take in all at once, please send me an email. I'm happy to book a one-on-one Zoom session to answer any questions that maybe you didn't get the full answer to, or you have some follow-up questions you want to ask. I'm happy to do that.
We did have one question, and the question was, can we do remote learning? And right now we're doing partially remote. So that means that students are on campus for a few hours a week, every week, and also doing remote learning. We're hoping that once the COVID settles, that we can be on campus again, because the intention of this program is to be integrating with other students and with community members. And we do a lot of hands-on, a lot of role playing, a lot of actually practicing the skills and not just talking about them. So although right now there is a lot of remote learning involved, usually we are in the classroom for the schedules full time.
And I should mention, we are still interviewing for our winter 2021 semester, which starts in January. We have one more admission interview date, which is on December 4th. So if this is something you're thinking about taking in the new year, I encourage you to submit your application sooner rather than later. And if you have any questions about that, again, please feel free to email me.
And just to mention, the winter term is a hybrid term.
Mhm.
So there will be at least 1 or 2 days that you'll be on campus just for a few hours. And the rest will be online remote learning. So just that you're aware of this, that's already been set. And that will be the format for the winter.
Good point.
Any other questions?
Or any other slides that somebody wanted to see again?
Or-
I'm gonna put Jessica on the spot to do all the tech stuff again. Sorry, Jess.
It's all good. Anyone have anything else they want to add that I've missed?
You did awesome, Jess.
Yeah, you did. I was like, is that possible?
It's a great session. Can I just add, my name is Teresa, I'm the Associate Dean that oversees this program. Can I just add that our staff are so modest and they wouldn't share with you that they are so caring and supportive of all our CICE students. Yes, we like them to be independent, but I can attest to the fact that the professors and the staff are so kind and so helpful and supportive to all of our students. I think you will really enjoy them. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
I think I saw a question that said, how large is the January class? So it would be no bigger than 16 students. That's where we cap our classes. Like I mentioned, we are still actively interviewing for the January semester. So I can't give you a confirmed number yet, but we still have spots available.
And someone had mentioned that they heard from our program at high school. So thanks for mentioning that. A lot of our students that we do get in our program have heard from it from maybe a friend or someone that's been to our program. So we like to hear that when word of mouth is kind of spreading through our program. So you'll find a lot of students may know each other, but all the students tend to remember what it was like when they come for their term one. So they're very friendly and they really are proud to introduce you to our program. And they're also helpful being mentors and letting you know what it was like taking different courses or being in different co-ops. So there'll be other opportunities as well as to hear from other students, because they're the ones that can really tell you best on, you know, what it's like to be part of our program.
I will share that although we have the capacity to recruit and serve 16 students, we have found that with the remote environment, our classes are somewhat smaller. So this would be a good time for those who have an interest in small class sizes. If larger class sizes might feel a bit intimidating, we are sort of leaning towards smaller class sizes for January in particular. And it may continue depending on what's happening with the pandemic. But this would be the time for you if you have a preference for smaller classes.
All right. Well,
It's a lot of fun. The students tend to really enjoy it. And I can't tell you how many times I hear students say, oh, it's just not like high school at all, in a good way. So when we keep saying independence, I hope it doesn't sound scary. Students really love the independence. It's a big fun part of being at college and enjoying all of the other things that Niagara College has to offer other than just our program, right? All the fun stuff. So we've done the ice skating rink out in the courtyard. We have that usually the last few winters we've had it. And we'll get students to go. And the nice thing about these events is that maybe you're not just connecting with the students in your cohort or in your class. You're also connecting with students in the other CICE levels that you don't get to see as much, and the other students. Sometimes it's just as simple as not a big event going on, but maybe you guys are in level 1 and you want to see what the on-campus pub is like, right? They've got pool tables, nice comfy chairs, exploring other places just to kind of hang out and be a college student. Niagara College has a student appreciation week often. So usually there's some sort of theme, and although we're not on campus as much this term, they're doing it all virtual. So it's like a survivor theme and lots of chances to win prizes and do like Pictionary and trivia and watching our NC-SAC club presidents videos and making guesses on all sorts of crazy fun kind of things. So we always try to let you guys know that those things are happening and support you with how we can, right? So do we need to put a reminder in the phone? Do we want to connect you with other students if that's what you're interested in doing? Can we meet you down there? So all different kind of ways that we kind of naturally encourage you guys to be involved as much as you want to be.
And there's lots of clubs that are available on campus. So some students have got involved in, for example, photography club or creative writing club or art club. And a lot of the students too have started their own clubs. And your student administrative council, they also sponsor clubs. So we just found out, I think just last week, one of our students started a travel club, and they kind of did that all on their own, right? They went to one of the orientations, they put it in an application, and they had really interested in travel to talk about places that they've been. So that one is something that he was just recently started. So oftentimes in our LF meetings, we'll talk about your interests and what things you want to get engaged in on campus, because that's a really fun part of being a college student. And oftentimes students can present to other students in other levels in the CICE program. And if there's a pool of interest, oftentimes a student will take a lead in practicing starting a club and using our classroom when it's available to be able to run the club. So there's so many things that go on at the campus. Really, we just trying to highlight what's going on in the event calendars and get students to be involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever there's
Is
activities.
there an anime club?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a student start their own anime club it was for the CIC program, right? Specifically?
Yes.
Yeah, we had two different semesters we had it going, and the CICE student would take the leadership role and run the club. So that involved kind of organizing it. What did they want to do every week? How could they get people involved? And they would kind of run the show. And any CICE student that had the available time in their schedule and had an interest would drop by and just kind of hang out with other students and doing something, either something new or just a common interest. So it was really, really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool too. One of your level 1 classes actually covers rec. So you get to take a look at all the clubs that are available. What would be the process if you wanted to start a club? We support you with that. And we have a really great rec center. So if you're interested in just being at a gym, or if you're interested in playing games with others, they do some really cool stuff like lightsaber yoga, for example, where you can come and get together with the group and they give you a lightsaber and they go through a whole yoga exercise. So lots of different fun activities to get involved with in groups in the rec complex as well.
Yeah, whenever there's activities going on campus, we do our best, like Leah had said, to promote it and highlight it to our students so that they're aware of it. Sometimes it's built into some of our classes if it aligns with what we're teaching. I know I've taken my students out to, for one of my classes, actually, I had all the students when they were doing their on-campus placements. We did a tour around the school, and that gave the students the opportunity to show their classmates where their placements were. So not only were they talking about it in the class, they'd heard about what they were doing all semester. Then we got to go around the school and they got to actually show each other where they were doing their placements. And one of them was sustainability. We have this really cool behind the college, we have the wetlands with a walking trail. So they got to go outside and see the outdoor classroom, things like that. I know we've done some field trips. Linda and LB have taken their students down to do some cash register training with one of our community partners. We've gone to a place called Small Scale Farms where we help put together meals for a meal plan program where all the money that they raise helps feed families in the community who can't afford some of their own meals. So that was a really cool opportunity. Any other field trips that I'm forgetting about or activities?
Well, there's been field trips for the elective courses in the past, right? So the hospitality class takes, in the one class, introductory class, takes a field trip. Usually, and it's either to Niagara on the Lake or Niagara Falls. What's the third one they sometimes go to? Am I forgetting one? Niagara on the Lake or Niagara Falls? Anyways, you get on the bus and you're with the other students, yep, and you have to you're doing like a little hospitality project on the go, right? So you're exploring kind of like a tourist area and using all of the items that you've learned in your hospitality class to kind of go through and complete assignments with other students. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been in environment classes before where we've gone to the Welland campus together and planted the Indigenous garden on the Welland campus. What else have we done, Scott? What else have the students got?
Well, when I did the hospitality one, we went to Fort George, as I mentioned, and the assignment was actually it was a scavenger hunt to be able to find all the businesses, and there was like bits of clues in that. So it was actually, nice. Those are the types of assignments that kind of, right, like make it a lot fun, and then also practice those concepts you learn in class. And we've also we've built an Indigenous garden, and there's a beautiful pond on our campus. And it's a short walk, so a lot of the programs will use that. There's an outdoor classroom there. We actually had a class there with our one of our Indigenous classes that we participate in, and we did we planted an Indigenous garden. So we actually went into the greenhouse and we selected all the seeds. We had to plant them, and then when they did grow, we planted a whole garden with corn, with squash, and sunflowers and that around the back by the pond. So it was very hands-on. And the students really enjoyed being a part of all of that. And then after, as part of the course, we're able to harvest some of it as well and be able to learn traditional meals and being able to sample that. So lots of examples of good, fun things that we get to do on campus.
Well, if there's no more questions, thank you everyone for coming out on this Saturday afternoon. It was lovely to virtually share all of this information with you. Again, please, if you have any follow-up questions, if you leave this afternoon, you're having dinner tonight, you're like, oh shoot, I just thought of something, please don't hesitate to reach out by email. I am happy to follow up with you.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you so much for attending.